Welcome to Raising Confident Readers, the Vision Reading Academy podcast, where science meets story and reading takes on a whole new dimension. I'm Crystal, founder of Vision Reading Academy and a research scientist with a passion for decoding how the brain and eyes work together to unlock learning. Around here, we don't do fluff. We dive into real strategies, real results, and the fascinating science behind how kids learn to read, think, and thrive. This isn't vision therapy, and we're not handing out prescriptions, but we are breaking down brain-based tools and research-backed methods that actually help. So whether you're a parent, educator, or just wildly curious about how vision connects to learning, you're in the right place. Let's get nerdy, let's get practical, and most of all, let's get kids thriving. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today, we have the fantastic opportunity of interviewing one of our students' moms. And she is a fantastic individual. This is Ashley here with us. And she wanted to come on and tell the amazing success story of her daughter and the whole progress that she made throughout our entire program. So Ashley, can you start by telling us a bit about yourself and your daughter? And what was her journey like before joining Vision Reading Academy?
Sure. So I'm Ashley. I have 4 kids and we were all adopted. And so my oldest daughter was adopted from India in 2016. And so essentially English was her second language. And we brought her home and within a few weeks, she was learning English. She was speaking and I could understand her and just amazing. Then she could speak English. We start learning to read and write. And she learned all her sounds, all her phonics. You could hold up a flashcard and she could tell you all the sounds that a CH can make, all of the multi-letter phonograms, the single-letter phonograms. She could do them. But it's when we started to read those books that there was something just wasn't working. She could not string together the sentences. They would be so slow. She would keep repeating the same word that she read and she'd have it correct, but she'd keep going back and we'd read, we'd have to go back. And it was so slow, she could never remember what she read or answer a question about what she read because so much effort was spent just sounding out the words. And I kept telling myself, this is probably English as a second language. She's so bright and smart. So this has to just be English as a second language. Time will fix this. Or maybe if I just bought the right reader or if I just found the right collection of a topic that she was interested in, then she would like it so much and the speed would improve. I just thought that time would fix it. It wasn't time we needed. It was Vision Reading Academy that we needed.
I love that. That's amazing. So let's transition a little bit into how you learned about the program and your initial thoughts. What challenges were happening and what led you to then finally seek out Vision Reading Academy?
One of your coaches is part of my homeschool group. And so we were all at a conference together and Coach Jay was talking. She sponsored it. So she was advertising it and she was talking about some struggles her daughter had. And I was like, that sounds just like my daughter. The repeating, the slow reading, and able to know the sounds and could do a flashcard, no problem. But the actual moving across the page, there was something happening there. And I signed up. I signed up after, I think I called or got on the website that day because when I heard her story, I was like, that's us.
Were there any hesitations or concerns you had before starting the program?
Probably just time. That was going to be the challenge. Do we have time to have the meetings? Is there time in the schedule to add in all of the exercises and things we need to do at home? And I just decided to treat it like I would a sport because she can go through life and be a very average softball player. She can be very average at golf, but I don't want her to struggle reading. If we're going to get to the golf course 3 times a week or do our swim lesson once a week or be on the softball team or whatnot, then we can make time to do our reading exercises every day. Meet twice a week with our coach. Her future is way more impacted by the Vision Reading Academy exercises than softball. So that's the way we looked at it, and I'm so glad we.
I love it. Let's go in a little bit deeper with that. So your daughter's athletic. So she does like doing sports and stuff.
Yeah, we do. We're not even just sports, but dance and guitar lessons. And so, yes, we're on the move a lot, doing lots of extra things. And yeah, so time, you can feel rushed. You feel pretty rushed at times, but so glad we made time for this.
One of the things your daughter did well was keeping up with the exercises immediately. She got into the 5 and she stuck with it the entire time. What were some ways that you were able to help her or methods that she took to keep that up?
So I would say we got into 3 right away. And then within a month or so, we're up to the 5. But I made a little dry erase schedule so she could check off each time she did them. And then we erased it. So we didn't really keep track of previous days. It was that day. Did we do them the 5? Yes, erase. Okay, tomorrow, did we do them the 5? Erase. So that's how we kept track of what we were getting them done each and every day.
I love that idea because it makes it so that she's not looking back and going, I failed. Previous, it's fresh start, new day. That's fantastic. I love that idea. Coach, we're going to put that on our list of ideas to give other parents because that's fantastic. So thank you for telling us that. We're going to rewind a little bit. I want to go back to the sports things because there is a little bit of a connection there that our students that they play sports, that there is some happy things that they're seeing. When you watched your daughter as she started going through the program, did you notice any changes in her abilities in the sports that she was playing? Like if she's playing softball, was she able to track the ball better? Was she able to hit better? Like her hitting percentage went up. Did you notice anything like that happening?
So her main sport with a ball is golf. And so the ball isn't moving towards you, hitting it away from you. But I would say confidence has improved. Every other activity she's in, she's more confident now because I think the slow reading impacted her confidence. And so always wondering, am I understanding this right? I'm struggling with my reading. Can I really trust that I understand what you're telling me in dance? Can I really trust that I'm swinging the golf club correctly?
Or am I good enough?
Yes.
Am I good enough?
Yes. I obviously struggle at reading. So who's to say I don't struggle in all the other aspects of life? I think for sure, just confidence is improved drastically.
That's amazing. Can you walk us through what the program was like for your daughter? What were some of the key exercises or activities that she did that you feel like were that linchpin that really made a difference for her throughout the program?
So when we started the exercises, I noticed so much less blinking in her reading. She could actually stay focused on the word. She wasn't constantly blinking. If I look back from now to pictures before, I can see the eyes weren't symmetrical. I didn't notice it at the time, but I can look back now and I see a picture of her now and I look at a picture of her then and I'm like, her eyes are both looking at me straight. I could see white evenly. So those would probably be the main physical things. Much less fidgeting when she's reading. The book would just be bouncing she's trying to read and she's blinking and everything's just moving. And now she's still and relaxed. So those would probably be the main things.
So I have to add a comment here because the picture thing I think is huge. I went back and looked at pictures of my child as well. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I see the tension in the eyebrow and the difference in how much white showing on this eye versus the other eye. And I look at now, I'm like, everything's symmetrical. You can see all that tension going away. So yeah, that's amazing. What about a brief explanation of how critical you think the exercises are to contribute to some of those successes that she had?
So we started doing the exercises and then really not reading a ton at home while they were doing the exercises. She had a break. from the struggle every day, and we were focusing on the exercises. And then meeting with Coach Jay, we would just review some basic phonics. There'd be a few word games we play so she could see. It was neat, like week to week or meeting to meeting, the improvement. So whatever game we played, it was like, oh, well, the very next week you did this much better, or you got through this many words in the list. And so it was just in the meetings that we were really reading. And then after we had really made a lot of progress with the exercises, we started adding back in the reading, and you could just see and hear the improvement in her voice and just in the speed, in her comprehension.
Do you feel like that it's one or the other? Because I tell people that are coming into the program with new assessments, I say, like, when I started this with my daughter and it was gathering all different techniques from different modalities that I started working with her on, it was almost like I was taking the entire pot of spaghetti and throwing it at the wall so that something would stick. And I feel like that now that we have a handle on, and we have hundreds of students that have come through the program now, that we've narrowed it down to what has worked best. And so I want to hear from a mother's perspective that has gone through the program, both from you and Christine. You've both gone through the program. Do you feel like that it was the massages and eye exercises that was the trick, or was it the reading training that was the trick? Was it because we were more like a reading tutor, or do you feel like that was an all-encompassing program? Where do you feel like it was best? Or if it was all-encompassing?
Okay, yes. So I could have never looked up exercises and done it myself. I needed a coach. We needed accountability. We needed to be able to meet with someone twice a week. Evelyn needed the exercises for sure. And then I think following, it was that confidence of, you've already learned phonics, you know sounds, but reviewing it now that the eyes are working correctly, and she now has that confidence. And it probably looked different to her brain because the CH probably sometimes looked like an HC to her. And so now you know that the CH is a ch or a k. Once the eyes were working properly, and then throwing in the phonics again, just built her confidence more and built on what she had already learned in school, but to where her eyes just weren't cooperating. They were fighting against her. All encompassing in that, just the weekly meetup with the coach was huge, 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 because accountability for me and for my daughter, and to know you're not doing it alone. And it's easy to give up on yourself sooner. If you have someone you're meeting, oh, we want to get this done, we can tell our coach about it. Our coach is going to ask about this. We want to have it done. And there was times that we were on vacation and missed things. So it wasn't a stressful, I'm going to be in trouble if we miss something this week. It wasn't like that, but the accountability was huge. I could have never done this on my own with her, just me and her. We needed a coach.
Fantastic. So you feel like that. Hey guys, before we continue, I want to let you know that for a limited time, Vision Reading Academy is offering free assessments for children who are struggling with reading or learning challenges. If you've been wondering why school feels harder than it should for your child, this is a great opportunity to get clarity and a plan. Visit visionreadingacademy.com to book your free assessment before our spots fill up. Now back to the episode. Even though that there's more than just the massages for the eyes and those exercises, that the second part of it where there was the reading exercises that were still exercising her eyes, you felt like that was also a key point.
Yes.
Helping her.
Right. Yes. It built her confidence. It tied the two together. It was like you knew how to read, but your eyes weren't cooperating. But now your eyes are cooperating, and now let's come full circle and read.
What are the moments in our sessions where you realize this isn't working? Was there a point where you're like, we're going to keep on this because it is doing amazing? Or was there a moment, or was it just consecutive? You just saw things improving slowly?
I think it was very slow at first. The huge aha was the comprehension. She read a passage at the beginning early on and very slow and very low comprehension. And then we spent some time not testing her for a while, but doing the exercises. And then we tested her again, and it skyrocketed. Speed and comprehension just through the roof.
Yeah. So I would agree. The aha moment I had for her was, it was an informational passage, and she read it. And I think both of us, our mouths were just dropped open. What just happened? And she was just like, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
You've never read like that before? So that was a good one. And when she started, she would say, there's something we do as a word attack. And she would say everything in interrogative or question.
Yes.
We would try to do word attack, and I'd be like, what's this word? And she's like, hot. I'm like, are you
Yes.
sure? And she was like, yes.
Right.
And we're like, you're right, but you're sounding them out correctly. You know all your phonics. We want you to be confident in what you're saying too. You want it declarative, like a statement. And she was like, okay. And it took her a little bit to pull out of that. And then when we had that informational passage, and it was fluent and emotional, and it wasn't choppy at all, after that, those games started getting more confidence in saying those words.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And she would confidently say a 15-letter word or something.
Yep. What were some changes that happened post-graduation? Because it's been
4 months.
And she started a school program, and she's in middle school now. What's the things that have changed for her from last year? Because we were going through the program last year while she was in, sixth grade? And now she's moving on and everything's done. What's different for her? And does she notice it, or is it just something that you're noticing?
She's at the point now, she is reading through a 20-chapter book every couple weeks. Until last May, she maybe never made it through a chapter book. She might get through a few chapters and it would just stop because you didn't even remember what you read. So it's really hard to stay motivated. Keep reading through a 20-chapter book. Since we graduated, it's working out to about a book every 3 weeks, a 20-chapter book every 3 weeks. And we talk about books now. We talk about what we're reading. So it's opened a whole new world with her where we have more to talk about together and deepened our relationship because I can tell her what I'm reading. She can tell me what she's reading. And we talk about the characters, and she's asking questions about dilemmas that each character faced in the book. So it's a whole new life, really. It's really amazing. Really, really amazing.
That's wonderful. And then she had shared some stuff about how it had changed some activities with her siblings as well. Can you touch on between the siblings?
Yes. So she has 3 younger siblings, and her littlest brother, she reads him to sleep at night now and likes doing it. And he loves listening to her read. And before, that was never going to be something that she would have wanted to do. So that's deepening her relationships with her siblings. And books are becoming a part of their life. It's something they love.
I had seen her daughter at our dance recital. We live close to each other. We're blessed to see each other. And Ashley's daughter had come up to me and ran into me and gave me a hug. She goes, Coach Jerry, I have to tell you. I'm like, what's that? Because normally we would share our small wins in the beginning of every session, but I hadn't seen her for probably a month or so at that point. And so she goes, Coach, I finished the book. I had bought her a book, Treasure Hunters, the first one by James Patterson. And at first it was a struggle. We were doing some book drills with her, and it has a lot of tricky vocabulary because it's nautical terms and it's not stuff that is general knowledge. And so it was really tricky in the beginning. And then as we went forth, she would just increase the amount of time she was reading and really getting into the story and comprehending what the story was. So for her coming and telling me that she had finished this book, she was beaming her whole face was just lit up like a Christmas tree that she was so excited she finished this book. And her sister was standing next to her and she goes, yeah, we can't wait to get the next book because we just want to know what happens. And I was like, haha. Applaud. I made a plan. So that was at the recital practice. And so the tradition is to give a bouquet to the dancers when they're done. Instead, because it's coming from me and I was her coach, I'm going to give her the next book and I'm just going to put a single flower in it. This is her bouquet for after recital. And I'm so proud of you for finishing this book. And so after the recital, so it was the following day, I had went up behind the scenes when the parents were going to go pick up all the kids and everything. I had it behind my back and I was like, hey, I have something for you. And she was just really confused face, like, what? Coach, what are you doing? And so I pulled it out and I showed her the cover of the book, and both her and her sisters were both excited. We get to find out what happens next. And so just seeing the light of how excited she is about having something that she can do and be confident about. And then even her sister was excited about it because she knew that her sister was going to read it out loud to her, and they were so excited. So yeah, it was,
Yes.
yeah. I think I have shed more tears over Ashley's child than any of them. Because of just how drastic the change was from the beginning to the end.
That reminded me of something else at the pool this summer, whereas any summer before, she would have been playing the whole time. We're at the pool. You do whatever you want. And she chose to sit by the pool and read a good chunk of the summer, which was like, I didn't tell you to pack your book. I didn't make you read. You just chose to lay by the pool and read. Never did I ever think that my daughter would choose reading over swimming in the pool with her siblings, but she is now.
Love that. Your daughter sounds very similar to my daughter. We are a baseball softball family. And so we're at the field a lot. And now all of the parents, even parents that aren't on the same teams as my children, they all know my daughter. And they all know that she loves to read. And so they will go up to her and they will talk to her about these different books. We just had it just the other day where this mom, she didn't know my daughter's name, but she knew my daughter through our younger daughter. And so she's like, hey, younger daughter's sister. That's what she said. And so my daughter looks over at her and she's like, yeah. And she's like, I have a new book for you. You're going to love it. And so what you were saying to me resonated so much, where you were saying that, like, I never thought that she was going to go from me telling her you have to read to choosing to read. And now it's to the point where there's sometimes I have to ground my daughter from reading her books because she doesn't get the rest of her things done. And that is one of those things I never imagined that this would be this way, because I fought for so many years to just have her be like, why don't you like reading? Why don't you want to read those books? I love to read. I am a bookworm. I love to read. And then I have this daughter that she would rather go and sit in a hot summer day in a outhouse. Miserable, something misery. She would much rather do. I know that is a weird analogy, but that is just what came to my mind. So we're going to go with it. But that's how much she despised reading. And it wasn't because she didn't want to, but it was because she couldn't. But she also could not tell me. And that was the biggest change, right? Is all of our children couldn't say, I'm not seeing things like everybody else is, because they don't know. Right. The tension that's in my face and head that is affecting me so much is a problem. They don't know that isn't how they're supposed to feel. So they cannot tell you that. Hey, just a quick heads up. Everything we share here at the Vision Reading Academy podcast is based on real life experience and solid research, but we're not a medical program. We don't do vision therapy or optometry, and nothing we say should be taken as medical advice. If you've got concerns about vision or health, definitely check with a licensed professional. Thank you so much for telling your story. I love it. What advice would you give to parents who are considering Vision Reading Academy for their child?
I would say go for it. Do it. You'll never regret it. Treat it like you're adding on a new hobby or dance or a new sport or something. It will take time, but like I said before, a child who is a poor dancer, poor baseball player, poor golfer, they can still do okay in life. But a poor reader, that affects everything. And so do it and go all in because it'll be worth it. So worth it in the end. And it's not like you guys said before, your goal is to graduate children. Your goal is not to string us along for all of a sudden, oh, I've been paying for therapy for years. No, you have goals, and the goal is to graduate you, not pass you off, not keep referring you on to different therapists or different doctors or whatnot, to just graduate you. So it's a commitment, plus or minus a few. Just do it. Have the advice.
I love it. So if you could go back and talk to yourself at the start of this journey, what would you say to encourage yourself?
I think if what you were saying before about she doesn't know to tell you that it doesn't look like it's supposed to. She doesn't know to say that the tension in her face is different than everybody else's. I can't tell you how many times you get frustrated hearing them read and we just read that word. You really? Were you not paying attention? I already told you what that word was. And there's times where I got frustrated and made her frustrated, assuming she wasn't paying attention, right? It wasn't that she wasn't paying attention. It was that her eyes were fighting her. That's what I wish I could have told myself a year ago, 2 years ago, 7 years ago. It's her eyes. It's her eyes.
And I want to add on to that to say all of these parents out there that are along this journey, to give yourself grace because you don't know. And I didn't know. There were so many things that same thing, would get frustrated with my daughter with. So even going back and knowing that you're like, okay, well, she couldn't tell me type of things. I love that you're recognizing that, but I want to give you some advice to say, give yourself some grace.
Thank you.
All right, fantastic. Is there anything else that you would like to share about your experience with Vision Reading Academy or your daughter's success?
Just thank you, guys. Thank you very much. My year would be looking much differently right now if I hadn't found you guys. You found me, really? If you hadn't found me when you had, she wouldn't be able to do the schoolwork that's being assigned to her right now. We would have had to find a whole new curriculum or something because she did 7th grade. That means a lot of book reading. So if I hadn't found you when I did, she wouldn't be getting through these books. But she is. God, perfect the timing that we completed. We graduated before 7th grade, and now she's off. Can't wait to see all that she does.
To the races.
Yes.
I love it. Christine, is there anything else that you want to add before we sign off?
I want to thank Ashley for being an awesome support during all this for her daughter, because without the parent support on that aspect of it, she wouldn't have been as successful as she was. And a kiddo trying to do this by themselves, it looks drastically different. And so having that support of you behind her, and even if it's just reminding her of the exercises or sitting down and doing the reading exercises with her, because you and her did most of the work. You two at home in the trenches, noticing when she had any kind of frustration, that to pause and let her calm down a little bit, and then popping in with me. And she got to have fun with me, right? Like coming with that shake was like playing games and passing things off and stuff. But the behind the scenes, I think, is something that needs to be mentioned too, because as having that constant support by the parent makes a huge difference. So thank you.
I agree. It's a team effort, right?
Yes.
It's parents and child. And then that's why we go by coach, is because we're coaching that team. and getting you guys through where you need to be for that thriving success that we know that each of our students can have. So Ashley, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for telling your daughter's story and your struggles and your heartache and the amazing wins that she has now. I appreciate you coming on and opening up your heart to us and to the rest of our listeners. So thank you very much. And I'm sure that we will probably hear from you again and with more successes as she continues on her journey. So until next time, see you later.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley.
Thanks for tuning in to Raising Confident Readers, the Vision Reading Academy podcast. If today's episode got your gears turning, we'd love for you to subscribe, leave a review, or share it with someone who needs to hear it. I'm Crystal, founder of Vision Reading Academy, reminding you that learning isn't one size fits all, and every child deserves a custom game plan. Until next time, keep it curious, keep it science-based, and as always, keep helping those kiddos thrive.